okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just got to soldier on. Whew. Hello there, hello everyone. It is your favourite father and son now. Get in my car because I've got a gun. Sorry, I slipped into Friday night mode there.
Oh, bit. What are you up to on Friday night?
Welcome to the show formerly known as Panel Pals. But you know what? You know what? We're going to call it Panel Pals. I just feel like the time is right. Hit that official jingle.
Panel Pals.
Ooh, tasty.
Are you okay? Oh, Padre.
I like it. Using the rhyme schemes.
Yeah.
You really are my son.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm fine. I just need a healthy dose of comics. Yes, that's right. We are reviewing 3 new lines of comics, and oh boy, there ain't a stinker in the bunch. As per usual, we're going to give 3 minutes to each line. And which ones have we got today, oh son of mine?
We got Punisher Platoon, issue 3, numero tres.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we got Doomsday Clock, big number 1.
More like I'm Doomsday for that.
Doomsday Clock.
Hey!
Yay! And then we got a new one, a new image series by Ryan O'Sullivan called Void Trip, which is a really pleasant surprise and pretty good for us, considering we're not. Every time we try to get into an indie thing, it's always been like halfway through this, and we're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this is awesome. I have no idea what's going on.
But this is episode 1, so
Yeah.
we're in from the ground floor.
Exactly.
Finally, this is what it feels like. This is like the Kickstarter effect. I feel good. I feel like we need a little jingle and of like a person on a ukulele going ding 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 ding. Rich the editor, can you add in some Kickstarter music? Well, we just a little bit of it would be really nice. Hey there, welcome to Comic Time. It's time to have some comics. 3 minutes on the clock. Now let's get ready to rock. Bob.
Right,
Okay.
which one do you want to go for first? I didn't bring my timer with me.
You didn't bring your time with you.
No.
You are.
This is amateur hour today.
Oh, son of mine!
Yeah, I'm not prepared.
Let me find a
Yeah,
timer. Stopwatch. I can just. It just is a. It doesn't.
There we go.
Oh, and it makes a noise as well.
Oh my god. Right, okay, let's
Okay, cool. Right. So, oh god, I've got to reset it every flipping time. Don't want to swear. Don't want to give Rich extra work. Right. We're gonna start with the Punisher. Whenever you're ready, mate.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
I love this. I love it so much. It's so good. And yeah, this is the 3rd issue of the bit where kind of Frank's in Vietnam. It's in the midst of the Tet Offensive, which, if you don't know, is like this big military offensive that the NVA launched in 1968. Big turning point in the war, more culturally. Like, it was seen as a military disaster, but like it was a turning point that really kind of pushed the American public to go against the war.
Yeah.
And I love, as a history graduate, I love how much history is in this and how much Ennis has researched this, because the entire plot is about the M16.
Yeah.
And in real life, the M16 was prone to jamming. It was prone to just like combusting.
Yeah,
for as
iconic as it is in terms of like video games and stuff, it is an absolute piece of garbage.
Yeah, it was, especially back then when the first prototype. So the whole plot is about Frank getting down the M14, which was the previous like standard issue rifle of the US
Is it a
forces.
bolt action?
No, it's a semi-auto, but
right.
it's kind of derivative of the M1 Garand. If you know the one that does
Yep.
the ping. Yeah. So they go for that, and they trade in AK-47s because there's a black market kind of underground thing going on.
It's a very interesting thing, isn't it? Because it explores again more stuff that you know went on in the Vietnam War, but it's kind of the corruption within their own ranks. It's kind of just the ineffectiveness of the supply chain that's going on, and at the same time, you've got that counterbalance with the other side, basically. Posing and musing on the war in a very different fashion. This perspective on the Punisher line, it's all about how are we going to survive. On their line, it's about how are we going to defend our country and our way of life.
And that's a really interesting thing, because they do address pretty much like Nixon's and Johnson's ridiculous scorched earth policy, where they just they steamrolled the entire like jungle.
Amount 5,000 tons of bombs, and then
ridiculous.
It was like it was enough to be
five
about
Hiroshimas. Yeah. So it was totally ridiculous. But one thing I really enjoyed, if we're going to talk about the Punisher specifically, is that Ennis really addresses how I think I got the one at the end where it's all about the mission to Frank. It doesn't matter how it gets done. if he has a mission, he's going to do it his own way.
Yeah.
And he's vindicated in the end when he pulls out the M14 and snipes the guy from halfway across the bridge.
It's basically like it shows more character development for Frank in very subtle ways. Like one of my favourite bits is he goes to this black market guy and just says, "Oh, by the way, I hear as well as doing all these weapons and like other bits of goods, you also do heroin." And the guy's like, "Yeah, I mean, we can do that if you want." And he just goes, "No heroin comes near me." And it's one of those things where you see Frank Castle's face for how it truly is, just that I will have zero tolerance
that
policy.
also
on drugs.
ties into other NS's stuff that he does on Frank in Vietnam, because I'm fairly certain either in Valley Forge, or in Bourne, I wouldn't know. Scott is the resident Punisher expert in the office, but he does encounter a heroin trade. He uncovers it, and that's a conspiracy. And so, this is like setting up as a prequel to Bourne. It's doing fantastic stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
that's louder than I thought it was going to be. Well, that's the end for that. But I really enjoyed this. I would give this a 4 panels out of 5.
Yep, I'm gonna
fan.
say 4 panels out of 5 with a half a longie in there just to add it in.
The only downside I could say about it is that whereas the one before it had a lot of action, this one had minimum amounts, and I feel like there's a balance to be struck, and I feel like they're going too far either way. That's my only criticism. Now we move on to, let's save Doomsday Clock for the final bit and do Void Trip. And
I'll let you start this one because you're a big fan.
I am. This is brilliant. This is brilliant fun, it's beautiful to look at, and it's pretty much all about drugs. So I am hugely keen on this.
Muchos drogas.
Muchos drogas! Basically, it's about two they determine themselves as being space vagabonds or space hobos, and they're trying to find this place called Euphoria. And it's like unknown if it's an actual location or if it's a state of mind. But basically, they're just hippie, druggy dropouts who are just trying to do whatever they can to get there.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, they're so like cliched but really lovable characters. Even from one episode, one issue, it's just a case of I really want to see where these guys go. They bounce off each other really well, and they're setting up a bad guy, which just happens to be the police force, effectively, or some sort of weird private detective that's sort of looking for them. But you get lovely sort of drug scenes in them. where
it's called Fruit with 2 O's, and each type of different fruit gives you a different thing. So there's this lovely octopus spy person.
He looks like a gumshoe from the 1930s.
I was going to say he looks like Cthulhu if he was on a really bad trip.
On the beat, Cthulhu on the beat,
and basically he takes some bad fruit.
They look like, by the way.
Yeah,
fruit.
He takes some bad fruit and ends up tripping balls, and it's a very funny sequence where the fruits are like, bowl buddies.
Yeah, basically they are us. They're talking about panel pals, but bowl buddies.
Yeah.
If we're not making sense, that's because this makes little sense. It's just one of those things where you read it and you just think, as a spectacle, this was a lovely thing to take in. It was just it's drawn so well.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it's written really well as well. Because it feels like there might not be any sort of clear destination as to where this storyline is going to begin with. But at the same time, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it's about the journey, not the destination. And I feel like this series is going to be a heap of fun.
And the writers are touring around both the UK and US at the moment, so I think there's a potential of seeing them on Sunday in
Might
Newcastle.
have to go and say hi to them, because this is very, very nice. And it's got other bits in as well, like bits of violence and bits of action. So there's something for everyone in it. And I just hope that it maintains the speed in which it's come out this first issue with, because there's always a worry when it comes to sort of like trippy surrealist stuff that it's going to go too far up its own arse.
Yes.
And basically, he's going to help ground this. If Gabe stays on course as this character, then Anna's craziness will be balanced out.
Yes.
But if he ends up becoming like her, that's when I'll worry about this.
Yeah.
But as it stands, this is a near perfect start.
It's very enjoyable. I really like it. As someone who's like only kind of I've arrived late to most indie sensations. I hope that we've arrived early.
On time, yeah. Well, I would give this another 4, maybe even a 4.5 panels. It's not the perfect thing, because I reserve skepticism for always being able to improve. I wouldn't give it a 5 out of 5.
No.
Nor would I give that noise.
That's a different beat this time.
Jesus, what's going on with this?
Unless I'm going insane slightly.
Yeah, so 4.5 out of 5 panels.
4.5.
Definitely worth a read. Check that out. And now we move on
to the Doomsday Dong.
This week's Big Longie. This
Longie.
Clearly wins the Big Longie award. This is like hands down the Big Longie.
Yes.
So let's get 3 minutes on the clock. And I'll let you start this one.
Yeah, cool.
Okay?
Yep.
Go.
So it's pretty much the most anticipated comic of the year. Everyone knows about Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's Doomsday Clock. It's like the big event that's going to tie the DC universe and Alan Moore's Watchmen together. And the first issue does punches. It's very politically salient. It's very on the nose. It's very it's going to upset a lot of people, I think. It's going to make people feel a little bit uncomfortable with what they're doing with Moore's comics.
Yeah, I think that you and I share slightly different views on this because you're of the belief that it's a seminal piece of work, The Watchmen, and it should have stayed and been encapsulated. If you are going to take from there, you should have it as a kind of like what if.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is definitely playing. They found Rorschach's journal. They have decoded it, and Ozymandias is on the run.
Yes.
This is happening now. This is canon. It's not just a what if anymore. This is
and the thing is, I enjoyed most of Before Watchmen as well, the event that DC did a while back, where it was like a prequel and they focused on the Minutemen and stuff. But and again, I think that this is a very well written, very enjoyable piece of literature, and I really, really like what they're doing. Like our suspicions were confirmed that Rorschach isn't, a Walter Kovacs, so it's like an imposter,
which is good. I'm glad they didn't just bring it back. I would have been a bit disappointed if they'd rewritten.
But I guess what it comes down to is the reverence for Moore's work and whether you feel that that kind of overshadows what Johns and co are trying to do here. Because again, I really liked it.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is like this definitive ending where so and so happened and so and so happened, does that take away anything from the original book itself?
I mean, I think that this is one of the best story setups that we've seen this week out of the ones that we've read. I just feel like I'm really invested in this because of my love of the original. But I can see your trepidation towards this, but at the same time, I'm so fully bought into this. There's a lovely reveal that Ozymandias is the person that Rorschach, the new Rorschach, is working with. And for me, I genuinely didn't see that coming. I know that a lot of people had speculated that he might be behind this all or being the bad guy or whatever, but having him being, I'm actually the good guy now. And I know that we got off on the wrong foot with the whole me trying to bring this giant squid into the world. But let's work together for the sake of humanity once more. And that instantly makes me think, God, you can't trust this guy. You can't trust him, but he's got cancer.
Well,
you think he's going to do this?
It looks like he's got a brain tumour or something. But it's very interesting because the next issue, the cover has his golden gauntlet, shall we say, over Lex Luthor's shoulder, and Lex is looking a little bit sinister, a little bit duplicitous there.
When's he not though? To be fair?
I know, but he's had a bit of a good streak in him recently. But it's how it ends with Superman having a nightmare. He's never had a nightmare before.
Yeah, that was an interesting development. But I would say that that's possibly my one biggest criticism is that for an event that's meant to be tying these two universes together, to only have 2 pages at the very, very end pay reference to Superman just sleeping in a bed and then having a nightmare. It's like, I'm not sure if the payoff was what I was expecting. Be quiet, you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't deny that the world building
is
in this is superb, because it basically just preys on everyone's fears. It is dark, it is unrelenting, and it introduces two new characters, new to me at least.
Yes.
And I love them. The Mime and Marionette, isn't it?
Yes, and like just the fact that it's like I need to get my weapons.
Yes, that honestly is, it just shows how good the storytelling is, because you've got an incredibly serious thing. The world is literally going to end. He said in 3 hours and 30 minutes there's going to be a nuclear warhead dropped on the area that they're in. But they waste time to go and get the Mime's invisible guns to load up because he feels complete.
Yep.
He never speaks, and he doesn't like people talking during his performances, which are when he kills people. And if you do talk, he'll kill you as well. He's a cool character. And he's got they gave him one of the weirdest panels.
Oh, which?
Do you know the one where he's smiling?
Oh, the one where he's just done his...
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's really creepy.
If you can see that there.
Gary Frank's art is absolutely fantastic. It's really beautifully drawn, and I love the colour palette. The colour palette, it's it's almost like it's got a nuclear glow to it. As if you were going to see a nuclear mushroom cloud erupt, you'd have all these oranges and browns, and it's really,
They've done a really good job with portraying humanity at its worst. Everybody looks disgusting, effectively. There are only a few beautiful people, and unfortunately, they're the people who are the evil people.
Yes.
Like Ozymandias is inherently evil for his actions before, and he is the most beautiful looking man in the entire comic. They've portrayed him as being completely clean. Everyone else is covered in filth and muck and blood. And that's just lovely. Oh, I just really, really enjoy it.
It's going to be a slow burner because it's a 12-issue series. But again, it's like this internal debate I keep having. It's like I really like it. I really like where it's going. I'm just a little bit put off by how it is. This is now the how
Yeah.
Watchmen continued after the original book ended. But
Yeah.
what the hey?
I think that if you can get over that, then this is going to be a really interesting, if not seminal piece of work itself. I hope so. I hope that people will be talking about this with as much reverence as they did about the original one. Oof. I hope they will. Yeah, I hope they will. And that has been the three. Oh, what we didn't give it a rating. I'm going to go out there and say that it's a 4.5 again.
Ooh, yeah, I'll give it. I think I'll give it a 4.
Let's average it out and give it a 4.
Yeah.
Let's give it a 4 on that one. So those have been our 3 comics for this week. And you know what? I feel really good. I feel really positive. Like, this has been a really good week for comics, as of most weeks. We haven't really reviewed that many duff lines.
No.
You know what? I'm just feeling like, yeah, might be a good time to call it soon.
What?
But yeah, just so let us know what you think about what you picked up this week, and if you're picking up any of these lines, what you thought about them. Go back to whatculture.com and then just follow us on all the social medias, because we are starving for attention. Look at him, starving. As always, I've been Jules. This has been my son Ewan, and we'll see you soon.
What's going on with your hand, Jules?
Nah, it's nothing.
Nothing? Okay, cool.
See you soon.
Bye.